In this edition of WUCF Artisodes, a special Best Of presentation. A young Central Florida artist garners national recognition.
When I went to LA and I got professional illustrators telling me that my work is worth selling, it's like what I do means something.
And Orlando's Mr. Richard has a toe-tapping good time entertaining kids.
I would call my music whimsical pop rock. The songs are funny, they just kind of drop in your lap or in your brain.
It's all coming up on WUCF Artisodes. Megan Nelson is a Palm Bay artist who is mostly self-taught. Her award-winning science fiction images offer a twist on reality.
Megan Nelson, illustrator for Poseidon's Eyes, was born in Palm Bay, Florida. She is now attending the University of Central Florida, majoring in English literature, which is her second artistic love. She also does freelance illustration and comic work when her schedule isn't a many-headed beast. Please congratulate artist Megan Nelson.
Here I am standing on a stage in LA accepting an award for drawing science fiction and fantasy. Oh my gosh. Winning Illustrators of the Future was really, really awesome because for a long time, what I said in my speech was that my artwork had been stuck in a closet until that point, and that was true. So when I went to LA and I got professional illustrators telling me that my work is worth selling, it's worth being on display, it was just the validation, you can't explain it. It's like what I do means something. I got started when my dad showed me how to draw a boy out of the word boy. So you draw a boy and then there'd be a head and eyes and everything. And after that I just kept drawing, and then in 5th grade I drew a picture of a dragon for one of my teachers for a story I had written, and my teacher went crazy about it. She's like, "This is the best dragon I'd ever seen, this is really good." And I was like, wow, it actually looks pretty good, I'm gonna keep doing this. So I kept on and I've been drawing ever since. I get inspired by looking at other people's art all over the place. It's just amazing what people can come up with and what they share. When I walk through art galleries and I look at other people's work, it's a connection, I feel. Because when I look at the work, I like to see how it's made. I try to read how much work they put into it and the story of their artwork in the brushstrokes. I love to do science fiction and fantasy art. I do dragons, fairies, people with magical powers. So interesting and so much fun for me to think about. Drawing dragons and drawing imaginary things, you sort of have to base yourself in reality. If I want to do a dragon, I'll look up pictures of lizards and snakes and give them the lizardy and snake feel. To make a mystical thing become sort of at least believable, you have to start in the basics of reality. And with creatures that don't even exist, you sort of have to make up your own anatomy and your own sort of history for what the creatures do, and I really like doing that as well. The work that I do, a lot of it actually centers around stories that I make up or write. There are characters that I make up and that I draw over and over again. Just stories are what sort of inspire the characters and what I have in my galleries and the work that I do. Animation has been my passion for a long time. Animation is something that's what got me into drawing in the first place, dragons on TV. Just having a character that you've made up or you've worked on and seeing them move around, it's a feeling that I can't describe. It's something I really love. I applied and was accepted to the Ringling College of Art and Design in their animation program, which only accepts about 60 students per year. But they sent me the bill and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't afford that. So I had to sort of reorganize my priorities, had to figure out what it was that I could do and support myself, and if art was something that I could do to support myself. and I finally settled on doing art as a side thing, as something that I want to grow up into and something that I will always work on, but I sort of teach myself artwork and go to school for the thing that will pay the bills. I'm a literature major, and that's actually my second love. I love to write. Writing and art just, I don't know, they mesh for me because my art is inspired also by stories, and my stories are inspired by art, so they sort of work hand in hand. Art is definitely a piece of, I guess, humanity, you could say. Without it, I feel like we live in a pretty soulless world. You can look at a piece of art and you can see someone else's thought process in it. You can look outside of yourself and look into what they were thinking of. With science fiction and fantasy, you can see worlds that will never exist except in that person's head. Art's been with me for forever. I don't know who I would be without art. Being able to draw and express yourself is a really, really cool thing.
As part of WUCF's American Graduate Initiative, Artisodes proudly honors our Student Artist of the Week as we bring awareness to the dropout crisis and encourage Central Florida's children to succeed.
My name is Mackenzie Graham, and I'm a senior at Lake Howell High School. I have two very different styles of realistic and very flowy. If I'm doing something realistic, my goal is to recreate what I'm looking at, but make it a little bit better than the picture. Maybe represent what I'm drawing a little bit better than the photograph would. The original ideas are more about expressing what I felt when I was looking at that piece or that picture, like the idea and the warm summer day instead of actually just painting the water.
When Mackenzie first was in my class, I knew that she had a lot of talent, but as time progressed, to see her go from where she was to what she is now, Mackenzie is not only a wonderful artist, but she is in student government as a representative. She is part of the swim team, the water polo team. She does over 200 hours of community service, and she has a wonderful GPA. Mackenzie is the total package.
It's really awesome seeing the finished product. Usually if I'm doing something more realistic, it won't look very realistic in the beginning stages, so I have to push myself to actually finish it. And when I'm in the middle of a painting, especially, I don't know if you can see it, that one right there in the pool, my friend was just laying back in the water and she looked so happy that I just wanted to paint it and capture that happiness of just sitting in the sun on the summer day.
I see so much potential in Mackenzie. She's constantly trying to strive to be better, which is fabulous.
Artisodes congratulates Mackenzie Graham of Lake Howell High School, our Student Artist of the Week. By day, Jonathan Thompson teaches music to middle schoolers. By night, he creates some very moving works of art.
My name is Jonathan Thompson. I'm the band director at Heritage Middle School in Deltona, Florida. I've always been a musician. Ever since I was in middle school, I joined band. Always enjoyed performing and the arts in general. And it's a pleasure to be able to share my passions with the kids every day. I feel in another life, maybe perhaps I'd be an engineer. I love tinkering, I love building. I think I owe a lot to my parents buying me every Lego set I could ever want, and having that creative outlet to just have something here and to make it. And I just got into this hobby a couple years ago. I always wanted to make a rolling ball sculpture. And so a few years ago, I just came across a how-to video and then just started making these. It was a hobby for me. And I suppose as the story goes for many artists, starts as a hobby, just want to do it. You know, for me, I want to put one in my house. And then I did a YouTube video and it got a bunch of hits and someone asked if it was for sale. So I put it up for a price and it sold, and I was ecstatic, like just so excited that someone else appreciated something I made, and I was looking at it thinking, man, I can do better. I know I can do better. So for about the last 2 years now, I've just been doing this. So full-time band director, and now this has almost become a second full-time job for me. couple different kinds I make. Some of them are completely manual. So you'll pick up the marbles with your hand, drop them at the top. Harvey, the sculpt, that's semi-automatic. So you still load the marbles in the top, but then as they run, it'll actually hit a switch and it'll run on its own for like 5 to 8 minutes. And then there's the fully automatic ones, the motorized ones. And those, I think adults really like to watch, because we'd kind of prefer to just kind of stand back and just appreciate it and watch it move on its own. The ideas that my sculptures come from, they basically will start with a general idea. I know if I want it to be on the wall, if I want it to be a desktop. I know a general shape, and I usually pick one element I want to be in there. So if is it a big greasy gear? Is it a skull, for instance? Is it the shape I want it to be on the wall? And then it goes to how many tracks are going to be in that piece. Is it motorized? Is it all manual? And then from there, it has to take on its mind of its own, really. You know, once I start putting metal together and laying the track, I stand back for long periods of time, just kind of look at it and say, what's going to look best? Where should that go? You know, and it's an ever-changing process. I have yet to make one piece from start to finish that starts out as a drawing and finishes the same way. It's just going to change along the way. My kids, my students, I always bring in my work to show my students. They love it. Some of them, they get the same face I see a lot of adults get to. It's amazement. They're mesmerized. Just to watch something just simple, just kind of moving down a track. I can't really explain it, but there's just something that's enjoyable about that, something that's mesmerizing. I'm still coming to terms with what I'm actually creating. When I'm finished and I stand back and I will say to myself, I made that. I just created that. That came from here. And it still kind of blows my mind that I'm creating something completely new, something completely different. The final product, when it is finished, is a great joy for me, because these take hundreds of hours to go through. It is very much a joy and a passion, and seeing it with my newfound success in actually being able to share my art with others and selling them, doing commissions and whatnot, I hope that I'm never going to lose that same passion and it doesn't become a job. And I'm confident the amount of ideas, the amount of different things I can create, it's endless. So I don't think I'll ever run out of ideas of what to create next, and I don't think I'll ever get bored.
He may not be a big-time pop star, but for many parents, Mr. Richard is a big-time musical talent thanks to his big-time popularity with their kids.
Hey, everybody, how do you do? How do you do?
My name is Richard Peoples. I'm known as Mr. Richard. That's what the moms named me. And I'm a children's entertainer here in Central Florida area.
Hey, everybody, how do you do? How do you do?
I've sold somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 CDs. I have one called Tummy Talk, Backyard Astronauts, Polka Dot Puzzle, Might As Well Sing, and I do have a Christmas EP. I perform about 300 days a year.
Now you're part of the band.
Well, I always played in bands since I was a high school kid, and learned the guitar. We had a group of friends, and we all decided, you're playing this, you're playing this. We'd draw pictures of ourselves, like in 8th grade. Like any kid, you get in front of the mirror and pretend you're Keith Richards. Now I'm famous, if you're 5 and you live here around here. That's good enough. I always liked kids. I worked in children's theater a little bit in college, and I never thought of putting the two together until I went to work at the library as a storyteller. I started writing songs for the kids, and they went over well, and I could tweak them at work. I could tweak them as I went, and then by the time I recorded my first album, I had like 10 or 12 songs that were ready to go.
I don't want to watch the TV no more. Gonna show my moves out on the dance floor. Stand up and reach so high. We're gonna grab the sky. Come on, everybody.
Jump like a frog, shake like jello, bark like a dog, dance like a monkey wearing purple socks, 'cause everybody knows kids.
I I would call my music whimsical pop rock. The songs are funny, they just kind of drop in your lap or in your brain. I got the idea for Sammy the Snake from my brother, but he calls snakes Sammy Snake. And I just thought snakes kind of look like they're dancing when they move. So it's really just an excuse to dance, that whole thing.
Wears a pair of dark sunglasses on his pointed nose. He wiggles and he shakes like a crazy garden hose.
Sometimes they come when you're asleep. And then other things I think from my own childhood, like I have a song about the garbage man. That's, my brother wanted to be a garbage man, so he really thought the garbage man only worked 2 days a week. So I thought, oh, that's a good idea for a song.
I'm standing on the couch looking out at the street. I hear the crash and boom, and it sounds so sweet. He's almost at my house now, I'm jumping again. Here he comes, it's the garbage man. I see him down the street, ready? Up, up, up goes the garbage man. Boom, boom, slamming it down again. Crush, crush, smushing the trash all down. The garbage man's gotta have the best job in town. Someday, I'll be the garbage man.
Sometimes I leave and I'm not in the mood, you know, but the kids always put me in the mood. In fact, work, if you want to call what I do work, is more like it's kind of a respite for me. It's therapeutic.
Hello, girls. Hi. Hey. Molly,
My wife Danielle was she's a school teacher, 2nd and 3rd grade, and she was Teacher of the Year her last year of work, 2011, 2012, and it's right as school ended that school year, she got diagnosed with breast cancer. And then she got a headache that lasted about a week, and an MRI showed she had a couple of tumors in her brain. Immediately when Danielle was diagnosed with breast cancer, our neighbor proposed doing a donation site online, and we balked at it first. She finally talked us into doing it, and it's been great. People just really responded to it. It's just kind of overwhelming. It's kind of, I don't expect it, so that makes it just a little more like, whoa, okay, thank you. You know, it's just amazing the way people, it's like they hang in there with us. We have to, so, you know, we're hanging tough, and they are too. I like that. We're really lucky. When I know she's in safe hands, it's really kind of a little rest for me, because I enjoy it, and you know, the kids always put me in a good mood and make me laugh when they dance.
Hey, who's gonna dance? This is a dancing song. Your doggy likes to scratch.
Well, I love the music and the kids. It's a great combo because they're so honest. They get right, you know, you get it right back from them. They're not out there talking amongst themselves while you're playing. They're in it. They're right in it. I love that. That's what it's for. It's for having fun, you know, having a good time. So I mean, I did it. That and getting moms out of the house. That's my other purpose in life.
Okay, clap real fast, make a big face.
Phantasmagoria is an eclectic mix of classic tales of terror, dance, and puppetry, all in a circus-like atmosphere. The group has built quite the reputation among its fans.
About 6 years ago, I said I need to get out of my own box and redefine what a horror circus means to me. Within 2 months, we had a show called Phantasmagoria, replete with the puppets and the costuming and the projections and everything we were doing.
I think what really sets it apart from other theater I've been to is that it's really kind of a multi-sensory experience. It's not strictly theater.
I've been entranced since day one. Automatically, I was drawn in to their performance.
After that first line, you're hooked. It's hard to stop watching, take your eyes off of something, because they always have their characters doing something.
Lots of people who come aboard, they enjoy the show, they get pulled into the world of the show, and they have great talents that we can use. Whether they're great dancers or great stage combat people or great circus artists.
I was initially just an audience member. There's just something about the weird Victorian storytelling world, the little sandbox that we get to play in, that I can't stop.
The fastening is removed, and one half of the window is so wide upon its
It's Victoria, darling. It's just simply divine, and to have this gothic darkness to it, even better.
When we first designed these costumes, we had never even heard the word steampunk. We were designing Victorian costumes with a twist. And then everybody started saying to us, "Oh, you're steampunk." And we went, "Yes, we are."
It's kind of fun to see little steampunk family that we kind of have. Their costumes are sometimes even nicer than ours, so.
Very eccentric individuals. I happen to be an eccentric individual myself, so we seem to mesh pretty well.
If you look at what Phantasmagoria features, it's folklore and it's literature of fantasy and horror. We're just kind of a continuation of that tradition of dreamers, I think.
We've got so many different layers and so many different parts and pieces that create us as a whole. I really think you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody that we can't relate to, and that's what we strive for.
These are people who are really special to us, and they treat us wonderfully and support us. Let's do the same with them. And that's what I think a lot of people can learn about quote-unquote fandom, or the people that follow you, is they have a stake in this too.
Trying to barbecue the audience.
People started saying to us, you know, you guys are like a graphic novel come to life. You're like a living comic book. And we started going, people, okay, let's use that.
Within the world of the comic book story, we can take a pause from it being a theatrical presentation of a literary work, and we can really take the time to dive into the relationships between these characters.
We're in the midst of pre-production on the very first issue, which we call Issue 0, and it's kind of an introduction to the troupe. At this point, it's really wonderful to watch how the storyboards have built off of the story, and then we've gone into the studio and built visual storyboards with photography.
What other sorts of shenanigans and adventures have they been getting into when they're not presenting a show for an audience? What goes on between the shows?
Barry Kirsch, who is our photographer, who walked in the door one day and just said, "I really like what you guys want to do, and what I like about it is the way you've built a family, and you're living that family." It truly has done that weird artistic switch where the actors playing the troupe have become the troupe. We are Phantasmagoria, and that's kind of beautiful. We love it.
That's all for this week on WUCF Artisodes. Thanks for watching. For more arts and culture, visit our website at wucftv.org/artisodes, where you can find feature videos and more.